Hola tripulantes, soy Ana Cristina Olvera y estamos en Personas Espaciales platicando precisamente con las personas espaciales de este congreso organizado por la Fundación Espacial de Katya Echazarreta. Y hoy estoy platicando aquí en corto con Lauren Savage. Lauren, bienvenida.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So, Lauren es ingeniera de aterrizadores lunares. Lauren, can you tell us a little bit, how did you get into space?
Yeah, so I love space since I was a kid. I grew up looking at the stars. I think we all probably have similar stories, just looking up and being inspired by the night sky, the moon, and I always just felt so drawn to that. I always imagined that one day by the time I grew up, there would be cities on the moon and people would be living there, and we're not quite there yet. But I pursued that path. I got a bachelor's degree in engineering, and I actually started out on the aeronautical side. I worked on aircraft and did that for several years, and then my calling was just space. So I ended up in the commercial space industry working originally on rockets. And then after spending a year and a half or so doing rockets, I ended up doing lunar landers, and now that's what I've been doing for almost 2 years.
So sometimes girls think it's a little bit difficult for them to thrive in this industry. How was it for you? Or how has it been?
Yeah, so at the beginning it was difficult because I was the only woman in my class, and I'm actually still often the only woman in a lot of my meetings. I'm very outnumbered. And I did have some difficulties at times. I think a lot of it came from just learning how to interact as the one woman in the room full of a group of men, and just learning to speak up for myself and learning to be confident in my own voice and confident in my technical abilities. That took several years for me to be comfortable with, and I'm still getting more comfortable with it now. But I think that has been the main thing. Overall, it's been a positive experience. I have a wonderful group of friends in space. Obviously, Katya and Camille and the others who are here today, they are my best friends, and most of us actually work together. So it has given me my best girl group.
What advice would you give to young girls or young women who are like just starting in this industry or want to join eventually?
Yeah, I would say there are going to be times where things will be tough. The material that we learn and that we study is very difficult. And then on top of it, sometimes it can be really difficult to be the only woman in your program, the only girl in your program. And that comes with its own challenges as well, depending on who you're with. But I would say keep going, stand up for yourself, but don't let anybody silence you. Understand that you're going to need to speak up for yourself. No one's going to hold your hand and make you feel comfortable at all times. And that can take years to get used to, but just keep going. And I think it's also been very important to find a good group of women. And all throughout college, there's very few of us, and we have to kind of stick together and be each other's best friends, be there for each other. Yeah, it can be difficult at times, but it is so rewarding. Getting to put humans back on the moon with my best friends, it's just the coolest thing ever.
So I like to ask, because we often ask for advice for women, but what advice would you give society and men and other people to be more welcoming to women in these industries?
Yeah, I would say, just being a nice person. It goes a long way. Just being respectful goes a long way. If everyone can understand that everyone has something special to say, everyone has something special to add, and just to be sensitive of how others communicate and be accommodating to that, and make sure that the voices in the room are heard no matter who it is.
For people and young people that are wanting to join the space industry, tell us a little bit, what could they work within the space industry?
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much. Obviously you have engineering, right? You have the sciences. So much of the engineering is built upon the sciences. We know what we know in engineering because of the scientific researchers. But at the same time, there's a whole other side of the engineering industry that we need. Like, we need marketing people, we need lawyers, we need people who understand how to communicate, because the work we do doesn't matter if we can't communicate it. And then, we need support personnel, we need business experts, we need all those kinds of people. And then within engineering, there's design specialties, there's analysis specialties, we have higher level conceptual design people who design the entire systems. It really just depends on what people are interested in.
So you work right now specifically on lunar landers, right? How is landing on the moon now going to be more accessible? to more people?
Yeah, so as more commercial companies become available, there are so many commercial companies right now sending lunar landers to the moon. And the more competition we have, the better it is for everyone, because before we just had to rely on NASA, and we had that one entity, and if they failed, that was our only option. And it was so expensive because we only had that one option. Now we have these companies, and we also have reusability, which has completely changed the game. Now, instead of throwing away a rocket every time it launches, we can reuse it, which significantly reduces the cost. And eventually, with the upcoming Artemis missions going to the moon, we have the first woman going to the moon, the first person of color going to the moon, and a whole variety of astronauts that were never allowed to be astronauts before. And now they are. So times have changed, and we have so much more representation going to the moon, and we just have so many options to send us to the moon that I really think in the coming years it's going to be something that just continues to grow.
What advice would you give specifically to Mexican young people to thrive in this industry?
Study hard. I know that's cliche, but doing well in school and picking something that you're excited about. My hope for today is that all the different people that they're listening to out there will be something that picks up their interest that they didn't know about, and they want to go into that. And whatever you pick and whatever you're passionate about, be really good at it. It's important to have a well-rounded experience as well, but get as much experience as you can. Try to do research. When I was in college, I did research opportunities. I just met with professors and said, hey, can I help you? Are there papers I can read for you? And just getting your foot in the door and getting those experiences early on can widen your horizons, but it can also get you networking opportunities maybe you wouldn't have had before.
How do you see yourself and the industry in the next decade?
Oh, I think it's growing exponentially. I think it's growing exponentially within the US, but also outside the US. I mean, this is the perfect example. You have countries which were previously not as involved in the space program coming online now, and there are all kinds of multinational partnerships allowing for this. I think that it's going to be such a growing industry, not only on the engineering side, but on the economic side. Lunar Earth economics, it's going to become a thing one day. So, if you're interested in space, but you don't want to be an engineer, you can approach this from so many angles.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy Mexico, and it's not the last time that you come and use your experience to inspire more people, not only in Mexico, but around the world.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.